184 is the weight of weights this year for NCAA wrestling. This is going to be the most discussed weight. If you ask me, this is going to be the last match of the NCAA tournament. It's going to conclude with the 184-pound final. And we'll get to the big showdowns that are going to be going down here. I'm going to give you my All-American, my round of 12 predictions, some wild cards, the big names that have entered this weight, as well as departed from this weight class. Starting with the new faces at this weight class, the biggest one of all, Carter Starachi, making the move up from 174 to 184. He's a four-time national champion for Penn State. Unbelievable. He's going for his fifth. And now he's going to do it at a weight class that has a returning national champion in Parker Keckeisen. Also new to the weight class, Gabe Arnold. We didn't know if he was going to be 74 or 84. Last year he wrestled at both weight classes, and now we're going to see him at 184. We've already watched him wrestle for Iowa. It looked really, really good, really fast, really sharp. Offense, defense, everything clicking for Gabe right now, but we haven't seen him against that elite competition at this point. Silas Allred from Nebraska, moving down from 197 to 184, as well as Jackson Smith from Maryland. He is going down from 197 to 184. Edmund Ruth from Illinois, moving up from 74 to 84. So, and then also a freshman from Minnesota, Max McAnally. You're going to want to know that name moving forward. So a lot of talent infused into this weight. And who did we lose? Well, we lost Bernie Truax. We lost Trey Munoz, who's moving up to 197. Truax graduated. Isaiah Salazar also up at 197. And then David Key of Navy has graduated. So it loses some talent, but it feels like, comparing those two lists, the talent infusion is definitely increasing at 184. So let's get into it. I'll give you some of my wild cards, some names to know that it could go a lot of different directions, starting with Chris Foca. I'm still not giving up on Chris Foca. I still think the skills are there. He had a wild year last year, and just to paint a picture of just how up and down, crazy, and unpredictable Chris Foca was. At EIWA's, he wrestled Izarov of Columbia, who had been a tough opponent. He beat him multiple times. He lost to Izarov multiple times that year. He lost to him like 6-3 at EIWA's. And at the NCAA tournament, Foca techs him like 16-1, just dominates him after losing this guy multiple times in season. And now, Chris Foca is someone who, when he moved up to 184, I thought, this guy, you could potentially see him wrestling in the NCAA finals. I really thought that about him, because you look at his season at 174, he was third place that year with 2 losses. He lost to Carter Starachi and Makai Lewis, both national champions. So that's how consistent this guy was at 174. And up at 184, is it the weight? Is it something else? I'm not entirely sure. All I know is Chris Foca is the wild card of wild cards at this weight, along with Brian Soldano of Rutgers, who has as crazy a style as anyone you'll see in wrestling. He's always trying for pins, upper body. He goes for these high-flying reversals. He's crazy. My final wild card is TJ Stewart of Virginia Tech. Now, he was 14-4 last year. He had some losses to non-All-Americans and guys that make you say, what's going on here? But then he put it all together at NCAAs, an All-American showing his freshman year. And he has some unbelievable ability. He's got feet to back, lateral drop stuff, powerful double legs. If he could put it all together, he's the type of guy who has the one-match ability to knock out the best of the best. Even a Starachi, even a Keckeisen, even some of the... They should all be on notice, and they're all going to know they're going to have to bring their A game against someone like TJ Stewart. But the other side of the coin is TJ can drop a match to a guy that is a little bit surprising. All right, I'm going to go into my round of 12. These are the guys falling just short of All-American honors. It's a very, very tough achievement just to make it this far. And I've got Dylan Fishback of NC State. He's a guy that's in matches with a lot of guys, but getting that next win, that round of 12 win, that I think is just going to elude him this year, although I do think he could get on the podium at some point this year. And also I just want to highlight, this round of 12, these are all All-American caliber guys. And then we have the top 8. Like, this is a really, really deep weight class. It's a very strong weight class. And, don't be surprised if you see some names that are in the round of 12 on the podium and vice versa. So I've got Silas Allred moving down from 197. What I saw from him, he got his hand raised against Utah Valley. I think the cut's going to be tough for him. We'll see how he adjusts to it. I think he can still get on the podium. He's a Big Ten champ. He's got He's beaten national champions in the past, but getting on the podium at 184, I think he falls just a little short, along with Edmund Ruth of Illinois and Chris Foca. I've got him in the round of 12. I deliberated putting him on the podium, off the podium. Would love to see him finish an All-American, but I have him just short in the round of 12. This is a really, really good weight class. 8th place, Maryland's Jackson Smith. This guy's been on the cusp of placing at 197. I've never thought he was big at 197, and him going down to 184 kind of maps for me. Really good athlete, good leg attacks. Got to put the whole thing together, and I think he does, finishing in 8th this year at 184. And at 7th place, I've got Bennett Berge. Now, he placed higher last year, but you look at the wins and losses, I think he had a great end of his season, but he still took some losses to guys that were off the podium. So back-to-back podium finishes, you may think, wow, I'm like lower on Bennett Berge. No, I think a 7th place finish is honestly really, really awesome for Bennett. And I think going back-to-back All-Americans is a huge, huge honor. And maybe he's just going to only get better, and we'll see him take that step forward. Right now, I have him holding about where he was a year ago. 6th place, I have Minnesota's Max McAnally. Look at this guy's wrestle stat. Look at his results. He already has 5 ranked wins in his career. He was a true freshman last year. This will be his first year in the lineup for Minnesota. Isaiah Salazar moving up to 197, maybe to make room for Max McAnally. I think he's yet to taste defeat in college. He hasn't faced the All-Americans type of guys yet, but he's been dominant in a lot of his wins. I think McAnally can have a fantastic year and can become a household name at 184, and I think he finishes on the podium as a freshman for Minnesota. 5th place, I got TJ Stewart. This could go a lot of different ways. I already talked about the volatility of TJ Stewart, but he's found his way on the podium. I think his confidence is only going to grow from there, and I have him finishing in 5th place. This is he's got a knockout punch. He's got an ability to score that few have at this weight class. And that's why I have him finishing in 5th place, just behind another guy. This could go a lot of different directions, Gabe Arnold. Now, I'm not sure he's the biggest 184. In fact, I'm certain he's not. But his defense, his elusivity, his positioning, his ability to finish and finish fast, I think that's key for someone that's maybe a little undersized. He gets under guys, he can sky them, lift them, and put them down. The question is, he doesn't have a lot of top ability. He's not a guy that's going to break you down and get a turn against the best guy. So he's going to have to get it all done on his feet. And that's what I think I'm putting my neck out a little bit, putting him in 4th place. That may be a little high, but I believe in his ability and what I've seen him do. Even though it's against unranked competition, I still think there's few guys in the country that can do what Gabe Arnold can do at 184. 3rd place, if you're looking for someone, maybe a surprise finalist, it could be Dustin Plott. I have him getting 3rd here because, you'll see why. But Dustin Plott was a monster last year. You looked at his NCAA tournament run. He bonused his way to the NCAA finals before losing to Parker Keckeisen by major decision. And now he's going to train alongside David Taylor and company for the better part of a year. Is that going to be enough to make up the gap that Parker has established? I'm just not sure. My mind is open to the possibility because I think Dustin Plott is really fantastic, and his ability to generate leg attacks and wrestle from a lot of different positions, I think it's special. And obviously there's a little room for improvement there. If he can find that, he can maybe make it interesting with Parker, who he'll see a couple times, right? They could hit at Vegas, they could hit in the duel, Big 12s, etc. So we could see this match. And it's a big test for, David Taylor year 1. This is someone he's invested a lot of time in. Can he make up that gap against Parker? And we haven't even talked about Carter Starachi yet. In 2nd place, we all know who it's coming down to. It's coming down to Parker Keckeisen and Carter Starachi. And as I've been thinking about this match, as many as of you have, I've been thinking how each guy can score. And talking with someone, it sounds like the experts believe this is going to come down to the re-attack game. Who can down block, re-attack, and convert? And while both are elite there, I would put Parker Keckeisen's down block, re-attack game on par with Carter Starachi's. But here's the reality. Down block, re-attack is predicated on your opponent taking that attack. Who is more likely to attack more times? That's Parker Keckeisen, right? I think Parker's he is a guy who pretty much implements his game plan. His game plan is forward and offensive and a lot of attacks. Where we've seen Carter Starachi, he'll sit back and he'll let you see how you're going to play it and he'll react to what you're going to do. Carter's one of the great reactors of all time, one of the great competitors of all time. And I think if Parker is coming after him, that's just going to create more scoring opportunities for Carter than Carter is going to create for Parker. Because do you see Carter Starachi coming out and volume attacking Parker the way Parker's going to attack him? I don't think so. That's my prediction. I'm guessing. I haven't seen them wrestle. I'll get to see them wrestle Saturday, and I hope you tune in for the All-Star Classic where you watch these guys. But right now, I feel like Parker is just going to give more opportunities to Carter than Carter will give him. And with that in mind, and the fact that we've seen this guy win 4 national titles, and I haven't watched Carter Starachi take a true loss since 2021 Big Tens, I'm going with Carter Starachi over Parker Keckeisen. My mind is open. It could be changed. I think what we saw Parker do last year at NCAAs is unbelievable. He dominated from the beginning of the year all the way to the end. He bonused every opponent at NCAAs. That's a very, very short list of people that have ever done that. But that being said, I'm going with Carter until proven otherwise. Parker could change my mind at the All-Star Classic, but right now, I've got Carter Starachi, the national champ, at 184. But I want to hear from you. Who are your national champion picks? Who are your surprise All-Americans? I want to know your predictions for 184 pounds.